Okay, it's December 10th. This is the scheduled meeting of the Town of Fort Myers Beach Marine and Environmental Resource Task Force Committee, Advisory Committee, and I'm calling the meeting to order. Could I ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Everyone please be seated. Sure. We have some guests today, and we'll get to that right after we call the roll. And with that, I will start. Bill Altoff.
Here.
Todd Zaccarelli.
Zaccanelli.
Here. I knew I'd screw that up. Sharon Hagstrom.
Here.
Robert Howell.
Here.
Ed Root has an excused absence. Jennifer Rusk.
Here.
And David Nussbaum is here. We have a quorum, so this is an official meeting of the Advisory Committee. With that, next item on the agenda is approving the agenda, and we have a couple of additions we'd like to make.
Yeah, Chairman, if we could add FWC staff, Shorebird staff will be coming in via Zoom. And Member Rusk has asked if we could recognize is it College Hunks?
Yes.
College
College hunks hauling junk.
Okay. Do we have the FWC people on Zoom right now?
I believe so, yes. She's
Okay.
called in via phone, so.
Excellent. So are there any other additions to the agenda? All right, all those in favor of approving the revised agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone. Okay, next item on the agenda is approving the previous meeting minutes. There's two of them from October and from November, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as published for both meetings.
Okay.
All right, there's been a motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion before we take a vote? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Before we get to public comment, do you want to go through and present the award?
Yes. I would like to, last month, we all voted for my nomination of College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving. And they were out helping keep Lee County beautiful a few months back for the coastal community cleanup efforts. And this is the day that I met them. They did an amazing job, and that's why I nominated them and why we all voted for them to win the Murphy Award. College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving has been servicing Lee County and Charlotte County since 2018. Beyond offering full service moving and removal, College Hunks volunteers their resources and team members to participate in almost every cleanup event put on by Keep Lee County Beautiful. The combined effort has resulted in over 25 tons of refuse to be removed from our Florida coastline. So I would like to, if you wouldn't mind, just stand up and come to the podium, announce your name.
I'm Andrew Perry.
Okay.
I'm Colby Charlton.
Hi, Colby. Hi, Andrew. So I would like to formally, on behalf of the Marine Environmental Resource Task Force, I would like to congratulate the College Hunks Hauling Junk and Moving Company for winning the MRF Award. And
Would you
I'll
like
hand
to
it over.
present it?
Sure. Maybe we can get a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. We get a picture, so somebody's got to get the camera out.
Yes.
Oh, Scott, okay, he's going to.
What's that? Yes, flex, yes, absolutely. Maybe all of us can flex? You-
Not flexing. This muscle's blocking me.
Thank you. This is yours, and thank you so much for your service to the community. We really
thank you.
appreciate it. Also, I believe I have spoken to Casper. I am in need. I should probably get to the podium. You can go back to this podium. So gentlemen, I would also like to thank you. I know I spoke with your boss, Casper, this morning. We are receiving our Flippers and Feathers Best Friends Forever children's book, the town's children's book. And they have graciously offered to help get them up into the library today at 1 o'clock. So if anyone is listening out there and wants to come by and help us move 200 boxes up to the library, I would surely appreciate it. But thank you again so much for your service to our community.
Thank you guys for having us.
No, you
No,
don't.
you really don't. You're good. Unless you have public comment.
Hey, we want to do it, FWC?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good job. Keep it up.
So we have FWC Shorebird staff, Brianna Frankel, and I believe the new regional biologist, Brianna's boss, I have not met yet, and perhaps the FWC biologist in charge of predation control as well. Brianna, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry about that.
No, you're right. Thanks for making yourself available. So we're all here.
Perfect. And just to clarify, I'm here, our predation management biologist, Kaylee Pearson. She is also here in attendance virtually. And our new boss, her name is Monica McKenzie. She has been introduced to some people so far in Fort Myers Beach, but she has taken over the regional shorebird biologist position that Kylie used to hold. So she will hop on as soon as her previous meeting finishes up.
Okay, thank you. We also wanted to reach out to FWC and the staff. The individuals working the south end of the island during the shorebird nesting season, in the opinion of Ed Rood and a couple of other committee members, thought that their work during the season went above and beyond, what was required. It was hot, muggy. They were dragging traps out to remove the invasive lizards from attacking the eggs. And he ran out numerous times just to see if they needed water or anything. And he said, I can't believe these people are going the extra mile that they're doing. And we thought, even though it's part of their job responsibility, that as a committee, we would recognize and honor the individuals in charge. So we nominated them to receive a MERTF award, and the committee voted on it. And I have here your MERTF award that we will send to the office to you, and you can share it with the individuals there. But we think shorebirds remain a vital part of our island, both from a resource standpoint and also from an aesthetic standpoint. We have thousands of people that come here yearly just to photograph and be part of it, and we are happy to have such dedicated people working in FWC for the preservation of shorebirds. And with that, I will present the award virtually, and we'll try and get it up to your office.
Thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate everything that you all have done for us and with us, and truly it's made a remarkable difference for both the people involved and the shorebirds as well. So I really can't thank you all enough for bearing with us as, you know, we try to move forward positively in the best possible way for all of our beachgoers, our stakeholders, and community members, as well as the wildlife. So thank you all. We really do appreciate it. And I wish I could have been there in person today.
As do we, but thank you very much from the committee. Okay. Now, the award ceremonies are done, and moving along, we now have the public comment. Looking at the expansive vast of people, not seeing anyone with their hands up, we'll move along. And going to current items. Oh,
Did we want to allow Brianna to just review the successes we had this past shorebird season and talk about it a bit?
I think that would be wonderful. Thank you, Chad.
Yes, sir. All right, Miss Brianna, you're back up. If you can just tell us about the past shorebird nesting season, the good, the bad, and anything that you would like to share with the community.
Yep, absolutely. So overall, this nesting season in general for Fort Myers Beach was extremely successful. We had 4 out of 5 imperiled beach nesting bird species that successfully nested. We did have oyster catchers present on the island, but they did not nest, which is perfectly fine. Interestingly enough, nesting this year shifted a little bit, whether it was locations or time of year. So our first nesting began in early April. Previously, this was more a mid-March to late March start date. So we saw a shift in the beginning of nesting season, which was kind of interesting, but you know, based on environmental factors and that type of thing, we're not the most surprised. Weather was a lot better this summer for them, this spring and summer, than previous years. This year did not have any overwash events. The milder temperatures even allowed birds to stay off their nests during the hottest parts of the days. The wind speed was actually very good in comparison to last year. There was a lot better flow and low rainfall overall. So in general, the conditions were much better, which, you know, helps to lead to more success overall. A couple things that we loved this year, we had a wonderful Audubon steward. His name was Santo. I don't know if any of you met him. He's stationed down at the south end of the critical wildlife area, and he made a lot of really good connections and met some of you, I believe, and did an amazing job educating people and, you know, bringing them into the fold. So that was great. We also had our predation management biologist, Kaylee. She's the other one on here today, keeping eyes on some of our nesting sites, and she had a couple interesting finds as far as, you know, the beach use by various animals. So for the most part, we really only caught a couple instances of people trespassing into posted areas. From what we saw, quite a few of them had large cameras, so it seemed more like they were trying to find nesting locations and whatnot for photography use instead of, you know, accidentally just trespassing, but things went okay as far as that goes. Obviously, there was still minimal beach activity, so we have no idea how beach activity is going to affect nesting as it increases as more and more people come back. But we're excited to see, because obviously there's always concerns about how much space the birds take up. And we obviously just want to let people know that depending how many people are using the beach, you know, the birds will shift where they're nesting. So while they seem spread out now, as soon as people come back, there's a good chance that the birds will nest in a much smaller location. So that was fine. We had overall positive communication and engagement with stakeholders. We really didn't have issues this year. It was phenomenal. Our species successes kind of showed that as well. Some of our colonial birds, the black skimmers and the least terns, there were less adults than last year, but we had a lot of new satellite nests popping up across Lee County and across Southwest Florida. So we had a good colony over at Lovers Key State Park. There was a new least tern colony on Big Hickory Island. There was successful least tern and black skimmer nesting on the Sanibel Causeway. So all things considered, absolutely phenomenal. Hold on one second. Okay, so as far as our other nesters went, last year we had quite a few re-nesting attempts or failed nesting attempts by our snowy plover, which are obviously one of the most critical species that we have on Fort Myers Beach. But this year we actually had 100% success rate from 3 different nests. Every single nest hatched. There was no re-nesting, and of the 9 chicks that hatched from the snowy plover nests, 8 of them fledged. So that is an increase in productivity beyond what we ever thought could be imaginable after so many nesting attempts and failed nesting attempts last year. And as far as our Wilson's plovers went, we had 8 total nests and 10 chicks fledged with only 2 re-nesting attempts. We did see obviously some people within posted boundaries near where some of the failed nests were. On top of that, obviously there's various predators all over the place, whether it's iguanas, domestic cats. There was an incident of a great horned owl taking chicks this year on South Fort Myers Beach, within the colony actually, which we confirmed. So overall, absolutely excellent. And I know there were some questions about our herbicide application and herbicide treatments. Within the pre-treated area, so we did a pre-posted area, we only herbicide treated within that area, and it was more of a spot spray the areas that had vegetation that had emerged. We had less than 3% regrowth in that entire area, which is absolutely phenomenal. You know, not only does it reduce the need for any of our beach rakers to go and have to do the physical work, it prevents additional growth of certain species that we're trying to avoid. Now, in the areas where we didn't do any of the herbicide treatment, we did have about 70% vegetation growth throughout the season, much of which is invasive plant material, and a high percentage of that was sand spur related. So I did have some good conversations with the Perrys about some potential herbicide application treatments this year and how we can best try to mitigate the sand spur issue, because obviously that's bad for animals and for people. Nobody wants those sticking in their feet, their clothing, any of their beach gear that they use regularly. So we have a pretty good attack plan for this upcoming year, and I am just waiting on final approval before I send out our draft of, you know, basically what we did and how we'd like to improve it going forward to best benefit both the condos and the stakeholders, and then obviously also the wildlife. So overall, excellent season, and I can't thank everybody for getting involved in that and being a part of that. It really makes a huge difference.
May I say something? There have been hardly any sand spurs, and that's incredible. And so obviously that herbicide did do its job with the sand spurs. People are walking all over the place with bare feet. I'm at 8,300, and I don't see anybody, you know, being stuck by them. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because actually Kaylee and I, during the season, we actually went out into the colony and we hand pulled what would be hundreds of pounds worth of sand spurs and put them in, you know, the big brown paper gardening bags to physically remove from the beach, because the way the herbicide works is it works on the plants, but it doesn't kill the seeds themselves. So when the seeds actually get lodged down in the sand, are introduced to water or whatever other environmental factors help them to grow, they still grow. So Kaylee and I went out before they even emerged from their seed pods, and as they were emerging from their seed pods, successfully removed 11 full, like, heaping bags of sand spurs. So that was a very intense physical, thing for us to do, but outwardly you can see the difference that it makes, in preventing those seeds from spreading and whatnot. And that's where the Perrys can come in and help as well, because manual removal is one of the best ways to manage sand spurs along with herbicide. It's kind of a dual focus approach there. But, they did an amazing job helping us with a lot of that too. So thank you for saying that. We love to see positive outcomes in beach management practices, and we're looking forward to see how we can improve it even more over the coming years. So
Okay.
Any other questions?
I know 1 year does not make a trend. You were saying the birds nested late. If the birds were to start coming in more consistently later in the year, would you consider changing the start of this season, the endangered bird season, from 2/15 to later in the year?
So that is a Florida-wide, that's a Florida-wide decision. So specifically for us, it stays that way because our snowy plovers are some of the earliest nesters that we have, and they have nested in early March and late February previously. So we wouldn't necessarily be able to change the start date of our imperiled beach nesting birds season. But what I did this year that was a little bit different than previous years is we pre-posted the area for herbicide treatment in late March. And, with the goal of, we didn't want anything posted on the 8,000 block beach earlier than April 1st. That, we were trying to avoid that unless there were solitary nests. And then on top of that, I actually did not close off or fully post any of those areas until there were eggs on the ground this year. So we did not end up posting until mid-April, mid to late April. And that's kind of what I would like to continue practicing is, not removing beach use from people until necessary. And then this year, I don't know if any of you all saw it, depending on where you live or what vacations people had and whatnot, but I started reducing the size of our colony as quickly and as early as possible. So I widened our walkways as soon as birds were done nesting there. I shrank the colony. Even by late July, August, the colony was about 50% of what it originally was. So, all those things put together, I'm trying to maximize beach use for all of our stakeholders and visitors while also, protecting the birds as well. But unfortunately, we can't change the season dates based on the fact that it's all Florida statute. But I do appreciate the question.
Yeah, I like the latitude that you're using and the adjustments that you're making, so I appreciate that.
Okay. As a committee, as you know, we're an advisory committee to the council. Is there bases your revised plan on the adjusted use of herbicide? Is there anything you would like us to go forward and approach the council giving our recommendation? Is there anything the town has to approve for your revised plan?
I don't believe there's anything the town would need to approve. It essentially would be the same plan that we had for this past year, just on a wider scale. And this is still something, I mentioned that I finished writing up the document for it. I'm waiting on final approval to be able to send it out. But essentially what I would be asking is, instead of just doing the small pre-posted area, because we've seen how beneficial the herbicide management can be, it would be utilizing the past couple years maximum footprint of our colony, which, we post a small area to begin, and then every single year for the past 3+ years, the colony has ended up at about 4 to 5 acres total. So instead of just pre-treating 1 to 2 acres, we actually pre-post and treat the entire footprint or most of the footprint, since that's what ends up getting posted anyways. And then hopefully it would prevent additional beach cleanup after the birds have left, or as I'm shrinking postings or whatnot. It makes it immediately usable for any beachgoers and stakeholders. So the only thing that would really change is the size of the area that we would consider for herbicide treatment. Does that make sense?
Yes, and as soon as the revised plan is put together, if you could send it down, we have a meeting in January, we can review it quickly and
Perfect.
go out in front of the council with our advisory recommendation, supporting it, if that's the vote of the committee.
Okay. Yep, I can absolutely have that to you by the end of December.
Excellent. Thank you. And again, thank
Sure.
you and your entire team for a successful season and working with everybody, stakeholders, town personnel, everybody, because it is a community effort and you should all be very proud.
Thank you very much. That means a lot, and I'm glad that we've made such significant strides with everybody over the past 1 to 2 years.
Yes, we have. Thank you. Any other questions? No. Okay, thank you very much. You're free to listen in for the rest of the meeting or sign off, your leisure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right,
I'll be listening in for a little bit.
thanks, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Moving on down to current items, Arbor Day. I received one response on reaching out, and it was for mango trees. I'm not sure mango trees are something we want to put on the island. Looking at Chad, they said they'd sponsor a lot of small mango trees, but I was unsure whether or not mangoes would fit in the
Plan.
So they're a tropical tree. They will survive here, don't do well with saltwater overwash. Great fruit, not native. So I have a mango tree in my yard. I wouldn't say no to it. It's not, it is Florida friendly. It's pretty drought resistant. But as far as for an Arbor Day event, I was looking to try and procure some trees, maybe over at Waste and Away, and try and organize an event around that.
Okay. But should we turn down the arbor, the mango trees, or, I mean, I'm deferring to you, our resident expert.
Yeah, I don't have any issue with mango trees being planted. My only caveat would be the fruit can attract rats. So if you're a snowbird and you have a mango tree, they typically fruit in the summertime, and they would need to be upkept for rats and that kind of issue.
Okay. So. You want to take a vote on this? Should we move forward with mangoes or not?
There are some mango trees on the south end of the island.
Are there?
Yeah, back in the neighborhoods.
Shemaikonville.
Huh? Sorry. Yeah, because I walk through all the side streets when I do walk when I'm down here. And there are a number of homes that have the mango trees out there. And tree rats are very real, but they were flourishing. There were people stopping by and just picking to their heart's content,
Really?
including our local constables.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so, anybody else have an opinion on this?
To kind of to Chad's point, I think if we're doing an Arbor Day, it should be for native plants, in my opinion. We could take this, instead of saying no to it,
maybe use it for a different event of some kind. But there's countless native fruits and native plants that can give back to your property that I think would be better for something like that, in my opinion.
Well, the only thing that grew on the plantation were mango trees.
Yeah.
Now, you could get 5 different kinds of mango trees, but that's, I looked them up and that's all they grew was mangoes.
Yeah, or we could combine it with some native offerings as well, instead of turning it down.
Okay. All right. So, Bill, do you have an objection on mangoes? Yes, no?
Not at all.
Okay.
Good shot.
Todd?
I'm on the fence on that, so I'll say not at all.
I agree.
I'm a nay on it.
I'm a nay.
Okay. Then I won't pursue it.
Okay.
Seems like we have a consensus. Okay, we do have 2 Arbor Days, one in February, as I said at our last meeting, January, and one in April, I believe. And so the one in January, Chad, you had said that when we discussed this, you had some plans on this?
Yeah, I'd like to, I'm going to do my best to try and procure some trees for some of our beach accesses, including Wasting Away, and maybe try and organize an event around that if I can get everything in line in time.
Okay. If we can do that, I can try and get some publicity down there, and we can at least make it here's an Arbor Day event for the town.
Sounds great.
Okay? All right. The one thing I do want to remind everyone is February 4th of 2026 is our hazardous waste pickup that will be at the Bay Oaks area. And again, if you have any paint, primer, any hazardous substance that's been sitting in your garage or closet, this is an excellent opportunity to get rid of it. Lee County will have their collection equipment there, and it's no cost, and it gets it off the island and out of your closets and out of the rusting paint cans. So, and I will again advise the new public information officer of it so that we can get it out to the people.
Okay.
Where will that be held?
Bay Oaks, I believe.
At Bay Oaks?
Yeah.
Okay, where it always was.
Yes. Okay. The other item on the agenda is the comp plan that the town recently spent lots of hours on, and I'm going to hand this down. Each goes down. Chad had sent out the draft version from, I guess, a couple of meetings back, and it didn't contain everything that I thought we should take a look at as a committee. And if you look at the first page, and I'm sorry, I did it in black and white, so the highlighting didn't go through. But if you look at the first page under 10A1, on the comp plan, they went through and said they are expanding the purview of the Marine Resource Task Force to include sustainability of recreational use of marine resources, along with the activities described in the Conservation Policy 6A4. And I didn't go through 6A4, but again, if you go to the next page that I highlighted, where it says Objective ROS 1B, Sustainability, develop policies to promote sustainability in the parks. And if you skip down to ROS 1B2, it specifically mentions the Marine Task Force, expand the purview of the Marine Resources Task Force to include the sustainability of recreational use of marine resources, and then skipping down to policy ROS 1B4, it gets a little more specific. Establish a task force on eco-heritage tourism to develop and implement the town's eco-heritage program. The task force would work closely with the Marine Resource Task Force to advise the town on appropriate components of the statewide plan of the Governor's Advisory Committee on Eco-Heritage Tourism where adopted. Then the last page, if you look at it on policy 10F2, establish a task force on eco-heritage tourism to develop and implement the town's eco-heritage program. And then the task force would work closely with the Marine Resource Task Force to advise the town on appropriate components of the statewide government's task force. So we're mentioned in the plan, and these are the three that I pulled out because I was reading it, but I would like to sit down and have a discussion with Will before our next meeting and get his thoughts on where he believes we should be going as a committee. I had to look up specifically what the governor's task force said, and that's why I included the comment on ecotourism, which basically, if you boil it down, it's sustainable tourism activities that utilize both the assets of the beaches, the marine area, and the island itself, including, the nature walk, including kayaking on the back bay, including the mount, visiting the mound house, and so on and so forth, and possibly putting up some self-guided tours and plaques that could be stationed throughout the island, and actually having walk-arounds where you could go through and read. We used to have a tremendous sign at Bowditch Point where it talked about where the sand came from on the beach and the history. And if you read it and recall it, it stated that all of the sand coming down here, a lot of it came originally from the Appalachian Mountains and is granite-based, which is why the sand is very powdery and unique to this area. It came down from the Ohio into the Mississippi and then washed over and created the beaches here. And there was a beautiful long sign that talked about it, and that's disappeared. And I think that that's one of the things that we can start putting some thought as to how we can help the town develop some walking tours, some eco-tourism areas that are self-sustainable but promote the beauty of the environment here, which is, I think, what they were trying to do. The other thing that was in the comp plan that I didn't get to because it's very long, 5,400 pages, I believe, John, give or take. And as I was reading through, but it also talked about the MERTF committee working to help advise the town on the taxi and ferry system that is being proposed and some of the things that will protect the marine area while promoting an economic viable transportation system. And they mentioned such things as, making sure that there are either jet boats or prop guards. It's something very near and dear to your heart, Rob, and some of the other things. And so that's kind of the purview and the general direction that I thought they were trying to utilize the MERTF plan or the MERTF committee, and I wanted to kind of introduce the committee to this first and then take some time and meet with Will and anybody else that he feels we should do it and come back to the committee and say, look, this is where the town wants us to expend our energy, and let's, go out, look at what we can do, make recommendations on some of the ecotourism things that are in the town, make some additions or improvements, and figure out what we can do, and try and follow up the direction that the town council just voted on, and then they just submitted this to the state. So it isn't locked in stone yet until the state approves it, but it's kind of what they voted on at the last session. And I just wanted to throw this out to the committee members and get their thoughts on it before we started, expending a lot of effort that somebody doesn't feel this is where we want to be.
I think ecotourism is a great opportunity for this area because we have beautiful surrounding areas. The beaches are nice. So we have a lot to draw people in. Question that I have, we have these street turtle lights now. Does that support, what do they call it, not night sky, dark sky? Does that support that too, that we can try to get the ecotourism in with the dark sky move?
It would. It also has to. I think all the turtle lights are the dark sky lights, but they also will have to have certain shadings on them to make sure they're all pointed down. Some lights I think have to go off at a certain time if they don't, and things like that. But if it's turtle friendly, it should all be on that. Is that correct, Chad?
Yeah, I would agree there, dark sky compliant. I'm not sure about the particulars on if and when they would need to go off to be dark sky compliant, but certainly better than the ones we had.
Yeah. I mean, that's a package that, we've already got different pieces in motion. And the turtle lights, I assume they're all done now on the streets.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not at the north end yet.
Okay,
So-
but they're,
Not on the south end either.
well, about every 100 feet, there's a new pole up.
No, I think, I mean, ecotourism is, I mean, that's what I'm all about. That's my whole thing is education, and especially at the parks, once Bowditch gets redone and Matanzas Pass Park is getting there, it's like, there's a lot of opportunity and potential, and most of the issues that we have on the island are from people coming out of ignorance with, the dog walking off leash, with those kind of things that are always an issue.
Yeah.
Most of the time, those things are happening, but with people doing it out of ignorance, not knowing why it's important, not knowing. And I think, you don't want signs everywhere, but you also want these people to make the choices out of, knowledge and those types of things, and having tours and signs, and that does help. It makes a big thing. Being able to say we're dark sky compliant, being able to say we're a whole island of turtle friendly, those things are very big to brag about. It's something we can be proud of, especially when we find the balance like Bree was talking about, having a balance of human needs and the birds' needs. Do we all agree with the raking? No. Can you do it in a way where it's beneficial to everybody? Yes. It's like those kind of in-betweens are what we need to find. And ecotourism connects people with the environment in a way that just going out and walking on the beach can't. Knowing what you're looking at, knowing why it's good not to rake the algae that comes up. Those kinds of things are very beneficial. And once you learn about why, it clicks a thing where it's like, okay, I can see that. We'll let it be algae out there for a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'd love to be part of the design of some of the signs. I love doing that kind of thing, and
Well, I think it's not just signs, I think it's directing tourist activities into these sustainable areas that, rather than the guy taking a boat and running at 70 miles an hour up and down the back bay, or, you can say, boy, if you want a boat, go on out on the Gulf on a calm day and, do whatever you want to do, just don't do it in the back bay. Or maybe you'd like to do a kayak, instead you'll see more porpoises and manatee, and it's a lot more calming.
we don't have porpoise, but yeah.
Yeah, or dolphin, okay. But it's a, you know, it's a different approach for, you know, making sure that people that come down can't just walk the beach every day, they want to do something, and we have a lot to offer other than just walking the beach. It gives the tourists something to do that's economically sustainable, and it still has an interest. And kayaking is an excellent example, and we don't have a lot of places where people can kayak on the Back Bay.
Right.
As a kayak guide, I disagree.
Well, I
But
mean,
I know what you're saying, I'm just giving a hard
I-
time.
It's hard to find a place to launch a kayak.
Right, yeah, and.
That's my point.
Yeah, and there's a few, there's a few, very few public launches, and yeah, so
Correct.
it's, so having the tour guides and the tour companies, you know, having that accessible to people. But like, you know me, I've been fighting for the prop guards on tour boats and rental boats forever. That would be a huge positive impact to that, but yeah, the kayak, getting back there and seeing the environment in a way that you're just part of, you're being passive observation is the way to see it, and kayaking is the best way to do it.
Do you have anything to add? Say yes, no?
I think this is brilliant. I think it's a great, great idea, and just a reminder, we do have a boat launch at the Mound House that's public for kayaks,
Which-
it.
Which is one of the areas.
paddle boards.
One of the areas that, you know, we should look at. And again, this is nothing more than going back to the town and saying, look, here's some of the stuff we have, but maybe we're not utilizing it correctly or to the best of its advantage. So on and so forth. And I think that's kind of the direction, Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong, that they were trying to push us to advise them where to go.
I don't need to correct you, so.
Bowditch has you're able to launch kayaks from Bowditch. There, they don't have a launch, but you can launch from
Yeah,
there.
right.
Also.
So, at any rate, so, if anyone has doesn't have any objections, then I will try and schedule an appointment and get with Will and any of the other town staff and see if I can get some better direction.
Sure.
And come back and report in January.
No objection from me. I look forward to 2026 on working with Murph on this project.
Okay?
I agree.
Now, that being said,
Yeah.
and I don't think we need to take a vote on it unless someone has any disagreement. The other thing that I asked Chad to send out was and I asked Chris King if we could borrow this, and I didn't make copies for everybody because it was sent out and I hope you read it. But Chris went through and did a kind of a revamp of their FMB Anchorage Advisory Committee, starting with the purpose and then limitations. And then more importantly, they went into, the committee sat down and talked about the responsibilities, reviewing and analyzing plans and reports, providing feedback and recommendation based on community needs. So, and they pretty much put their game plan on a piece of paper. They pretty much said, okay, here's our committee, here's what we wish to do, and here's our goal. And if you look at what we have under responsibilities that's on the town website, it says the Marine and Environmental Resource Task Force exists to promote the stewardship of marine resources. This includes stopping further damage and rehabilitating Estero Bay and its surrounding waters, wildlife, plant life, and air and quality. The task force purpose also involves bringing Estero Bay and its surrounding waters and the Estero Island shoreline to the point that they will continue to be a driving force of the town's economy. The goal is to sustain the quality of life in cooperation with all whose livelihoods or lifestyles depend upon the health of the Estero Bay. And that's what it is. I'm not sure when this was written and what it was, but I'd like to, again, get with Will and get his thoughts and see if there's anything we want to do to change this, incorporate some of the ecotourism, do something else. Because I'm a firm believer, if you have a solid mission statement, it's a lot easier to go out
Yeah.
and accomplish the mission. You just want to make sure that you're doing what you say you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
And I think that's a really good goal for us for 2026. And again, I can sit down with the mayor and get his thoughts on it and bring it back to the committee in January and say, here's what they're talking. I can send it out to Chad. Chad can do it, and then in January, we can determine if we want to make any changes, make any adjustments. Maybe it's all good, maybe we want to change something. But I think that would be time well spent as a committee to, number one, ensure that we're doing what the town wants us to do, and then number two, putting our words, putting those actions into words so that if we start drifting off the subject, we can come back to our mission statement.
Oh, it's awesome.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's time to kind of, every year, I think, looking back and rehashing and fine tuning and things like this is a good idea. So now's a good time.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just think that you are doing a great job as the chair of this advisory committee. I mean,
Thank you, Chair.
you work every minute to plan all this. I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Thank you. At any rate, with that was all of the items that I had that I wanted to put in, and with that, we don't really need a vote. I'll get back to everybody in January. So, that ends that portion of it unless somebody wants to say anything.
Well, I have a question. The Anchorage Committee, are we to go to those meetings? I get a notice.
You can go if you want.
It's, okay, it's optional?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's a committee meeting for the town, so we have public speaking just like this meeting.
Sure, okay, thank you.
Everyone's invited.
Okay, thank you.
And again, thanks to Chris King, I encourage everybody to read what she put in for the Anchorage Advisory Committee and allowing us to borrow it and perhaps steal some ideas from it, so.
Okay.
All right, coming down the list, we now get to members' items. And Madam Vice Chair, you can start.
Just a reminder in what we were talking about earlier in the meeting that I just found out this morning that the books were being delivered today. Short notice, but I do need a lot of help today at 1 o'clock to get the books into the library. We have Dolly's and Liz from the library. We'll have book carts, but we have 200 boxes that we need to move up into the library, and I really, really need some help on that today. At 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, Chair, thank you. Merry Christmas to
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, absolutely.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Not much going on as far as things I'm tackling, just my own stuff, but I'm very proud. My nonprofit is going to get its 501c3 status in January, and we're going to do our first land acquisition to help stop some development, working with Florida Gulf Coast University to take out invasives, plant natives, and if anybody wants information on that or how to help or be part of that, we're up and coming, but we'd love some help and ideas. That's called Keep It Wild. But as far as here on the island, things are going really good. The dunes are starting to grow into dunes. They don't look like berms much anymore. They're growing good. The wildlife has been very active. We've had a few baby dolphins out there we've been seeing lately. One was hit, but it did survive the boat strike. So working with pod protectors, we are hoping to get a group to speak about just dolphins getting caught in the wakes of boats. It is illegal to intentionally do that with the dolphins, so making sure that the tour groups and rental boats are aware of that. You know, just watch them be dolphins. Don't encourage that kind of behavior. And other than that, I think it's a really great time to get outside, and the dolphins are liking the cool weather. Manatees are up at Manatee Park now. There's still a few migrating through. We've had a few rescues from the cold issues or boat strikes. So out on the water, be aware of the manatees migrating and the dolphins playing. So that's all I got.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yep, I'm good too. I really want you to think about reading that book that I mentioned last time. I'm not kidding. Just before the 1900s, there wasn't a bird left. People had shot them, and women were having plumes in their hats. And
You know how they stopped that, right? Besides outlawing it, they convinced the women that only ladies of the night wear the feathers in their hats. And that was a big contribution to why it became taboo to do it, and it stopped the hunting.
okay, good. Amazing. Okay, that's it for me.
Well, the only thing I have on my comment was, the only thing I have on my comment is I would like to acknowledge Marie Torgerson for working with, I believe, the Coast Guard Auxiliary and a lot of other people looking at how to improve or control the wakes on the Back Bay. She kind of did it on her own, and I wasn't aware of it. I actually read about it in one of the publications, but I think she's a citizen that said, look, there's too many boats going too fast, and tried to do something about it. And I acknowledge her efforts trying to keep the shoreline preserved on the Back Bay. And other than that, I have nothing else other than to thank the committee for a good year, and I'm looking forward to next year. And I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Pod Protectors was involved in that meeting with Mary, and it was very beneficial, I think, getting a lot of people on the same page of that. I'm very, very proud of that, because we're getting washed around back there like a washing machine sometimes on my tours from just, there's, know the laws. You don't need a license to have a boat in Florida, you just need money, but knowing the laws of no wake, idle speed, slow speed, they're all very different. And every boat displaces water differently, so it's not a mile per hour law.
No,
it's how your boat displaces the water.
Unfortunately, there are wake boats that can move at 5 miles an hour that resemble boats doing 20 miles an hour. So.
Right.
In regards to that meeting,
Thank you for
I wish it would have been, I appreciate that they had the meeting. I just think it was maybe possibly a missed opportunity to invite the public out when you have all these people there in one area. It would have been nice to have it open to the public. But the other comment I wanted to make is you went to Sharon on members' items, but didn't go to these gentlemen.
They said no.
Oh, they said no, okay, missed that.
Okay.
Look at her.
She jumped right in.
Okay, and with that ends staff update. looking at, or no, we're down to staff update. You're on.
All right, yeah, so just to reiterate, that was a very productive meeting with Miss Mary, Miss Chris. We had FWC law enforcement, LCSO, marine operations staff there, so it was educational. And for us, just reiterating, again, idle versus slow versus fast speeds and all of the different zones that we have out here in the Back Bay. And Miss Mary's working on, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, Miss Jackie was there. So Miss Jackie, Mary, and Miss Chris are looking at another meeting to start working with the liveries, the boat rental companies, as well as short-term rentals and condos that have marinas, to bring those folks on board and see how we can all work together to make the Back Bay safer for everyone. On another note, with the Back Bay, we had a gentleman offer to perhaps donate some dredging for the Laguna Channel. So staff is going to work with legal and our permitting to see where we're at on that. We did have all our permitting for Laguna Channel done 4 or 5 years ago. It looks like it would still be an exempt activity with regards to state permitting, but we may need to re-up our U.S. Army Corps permit. Did expire, I think, in 2022. Not a big deal, it's just a nationwide permit, but it should be pretty straightforward. So that was exciting to hear that, so we'll follow up with that gentleman and see how we can work together. Even though when things are donated, we still have construction management and engineering that's needed to ensure that we are complying with our permit restrictions, guidelines, environmental guidelines, as well as ensuring that we're only dredging to the depth that's permitted in the area that's permitted, and the material that is excavated goes to the right spots. So still some costs involved that may need to get town council involved. So we'll, still exciting, some forward movement on that. Also attended a FGCU workshop with Dr. Savarese, Dr. Daly, and some other colleagues, as well as a whole lot of the environmental staff from the localities around here. So it was a great meeting, very educational. Dr. Daly and Dr. Savarese, we talked with them either yesterday or the day before, and they reiterated they want to come back into the town and follow up on the Sea Grant study that they did. That computer modeling is still underway. I believe he's done some hindcasting. Dr. Daly's done some hindcasting to show that the model does have good fidelity to what's actually happening. So they are able to model using past data and show, replicate in the model what actually happened in past hurricanes. So that should show that forecasting should also have good results that we can trust. So we don't have an exact date of when the modeling will be complete to have results, but I think they would like to come in and do a interim update and share with us some of the findings that they have gotten so far. So we're looking forward to that. Not sure if that'll be a council meeting or a MERTF meeting, but we'll keep you all up to date with that. Also had a sea turtle workshop up in Gainesville at UF. That was also very educational. Learned a lot how other localities are dealing with their codes, inspections, code enforcement, and also just the technicalities of doing lighting assessments and using the spectrometer to do those lighting assessments. So learned a whole lot, and looking forward to sharing that with y'all whenever we get some of those presentations back from the FWC staff that put it on. So a big thank you to the Archie Carr Center, and the FWC staff that invited us up there, and it was a great experience. And I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Chad? I just had one. He had no idea when the computer simulations were going to be done, because he had told us they were going to be done last fall, and now we're in winter.
I'll get you, if I can get a date for you, I will, but no, I don't have a date right
Okay,
now.
thank you. If you could, that'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we're down to the final public comment, and again, seeing no one there, I'll close public comment. All right, Murph Award. Anyone have any recommendations?
What do we
Okay,
have in the pot, in the bank?
I don't know if we have anything at all. Okay. Holiday season for Murph.
Keep our eyes open.
All right. I did invite Ben Duvall from Tuna Skin, because we had awarded him, and we have a 2025, and because he's going to be part of the Mulholland Award presentation, I didn't want to give him a Murph Award, a week before they got the Mulholland. I thought that'd be upstaging a little bit. So I said, if you want to come in January, we'd love to give you your own plaque for the shop for the Murph Award that you received earlier in the year. And he said that was fine, so I'll put that on the agenda. And other than that, we'll just have to see what we can award next year. So, agenda for next meeting, again, I'll come back and,
Sorry, I actually do have a nomination for a Murphy Award this month.
okay,
It just came to me, I'm so sorry. Liz in the library of the Fort Myers Beach Library for helping us store 200 boxes of children's books. They are going to be protecting them, giving them out to businesses, other people in the community and outside of our community. So I believe that the Fort Myers Beach Library deserves a Murphy Award for December.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Can someone second?
I'll second.
All,
Okay, any further discussion? Motion made and seconded for Liz at FMB Library to get the last 2025 Murph Award. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All righty. Now, thank you.
Yes.
Moving along, agenda for next meeting, we're going to, again, I'll come back of the report from Will and from Mayor Ehlers regarding feedback from what we discussed today. And I think that'll give us more than enough stuff to talk about for the hour that we're here or hour and a half, and fine tune. And again, I encourage everyone, please read the Anchorage Advisory Committee report and do some homework and look at it and say, okay, how can we make this apply to the MRF committee? Is there something we want to adopt? And you can even send in your suggestions and comments to Chad, and he can share it with everybody so that we're not coming in here just kind of totally blind. We can actually constructively go through and say, boy, that one makes sense. We can change a couple of words here and there, so on and so forth. But I'd really like to get a working document done at the end of at the January meeting, so I can present it to the town council so they can approve it, so that we can move forward, both on the direction from the comp plan and just restating our purpose and what we want to do going forward. And that's kind of my charge to everybody on the committee.
And that's not a violation of
No, you can send it in, you can send it in to Chad, and then he can share it with everyone. I believe that's correct.
Yeah, it becomes public record, so it's all in the sunshine.
So that's, everybody gets a homework assignment before next meeting, which will be setting a date for the next meeting.
It's always the second Wednesday of the month.
I got it.
So 14th.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's on the 14th.
it's on January 14th, 10 o'clock Town Hall, and that'll be our meeting date. And with that, I'll accept a motion for adjournment. Bill Altoff made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sharon Hagstrom made a second. Is there the motion made and seconded for adjournment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. It's 11:12, Wednesday, December 10th, and the meeting is now adjourned.